What's up, y'all? This is Deion Freeman, the dog in the independent pro wrestling, and you are drinking at Moe's.
This is Drinkin at Mo's, where we talk about the pros of pro wrestling in the Midwest while sipping on some brews with blessed beers and wrestling. That's my scene. Death matches and lucha libre, it's also mean. I'm a straight up smart goofball, not no kiss ass. I stand tall when it comes to wrestling. I'm the king. I know every move, every fling. Get ready for a wild time with Drinkin at Mo's, where we don't quit. Drinkin at Mo's, that's where it's at, like a power bomb. We hit hard, never flat. Fucking right, we're living the dream. Talking about wrestling, oh it's a scream.
You know, I've always said here at Drinkinatmos, just because it says drinking at Mo's does not mean it has to be alcoholic. So I'm happy to say Drinking at Mo's is sponsored by Prince Nana Coffee. The exact same guy you see every week on Dynamite, on Collision. Yes, he has his own coffee, and it's freaking delicious. They don't even roast those beans until you've placed your order. And you might be telling me, hey, Big Mo, I'm more of a tea guy. They got you covered there too. Use the referral link in the description of this video. And let's get you dancing like Prince Nana with Prince Nana Coffee.
All right, everybody, welcome to Drinkin' at Mo's. Big Mo here. You know the drill by now. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff, if you will. My best Dusty Rhodes impression probably sucks, but oh well. Anyways, I'm excited to have with me Deion Freeman. How you doing?
Doing all right. I look a little just got out of the gym and shower. I was rushing to get to you. We already talked about that off camera, which is funny, but you know.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be the first time that's happened, so it's all good, man. But first thing I like to start off with everybody with is what got you started as a fan, and then what got you deciding to finally make that leap into the business?
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's like one of the situations where like I know everyone kind of says they can't remember where it all happened type deal, but my like most like further back memory, like where I remember it like it was yesterday. My stepfather at the time, we went over to my grandfather's house, and he was a big wrestling fan, and we were going there for a pay-per-view, and it was actually my first ever pay-per-view event. My first ever wrestling event was watching WrestleMania 17.
Nice.
So that right there should say it itself. If that was your first ever wrestling experience, after that, I was hooked as a kid from the, Edge spearing Hardy from, the ladder.
Oh, yeah.
Austin and Rock. I mean, it just writes itself. And I was hooked ever since. And like, I don't know, like I was so hooked on it, like through middle school. I begged my parents for a trampoline, turned it to a ring. Which is funny because like even in high school, I got made fun of because I would still wrestle like on the trampoline, and my friends kind of get out of it and everything. And during yearbooks, you're supposed to put down like most likely to or whatever, and I didn't have anything written down at all, nothing whatsoever. But my football coach sneakingly went and put on mine most likely to be a future WWE superstar. So when I saw that, that's when I was kind of like, okay, graduated. But then after that, like it just took a pause. I kept watching it and stuff. And then it just dawned on me like, wait, like, can people actually do this? Because I actually had a friend who was doing it. And his name is Kyle Wells, known as Megamondo. And he has a podcast too, Wells Mania Podcast, all that. Yes. And ran into him at the gym, and he was like, yeah, man, like I'm training, this is a real thing, like you should come to the ring, check it out. Set foot in the ring and never looked back. But then that's when I realized like I need to take this serious, and I did. I looked at so many different schools. The one that reached out to me the most was obviously Black and Brave, Merrick Brave, Seth Rollins, Matt Mayday, like all those guys. Definitely, obviously, Seth freaking Rollins, you know.
Yeah.
Got accepted, went in there, and it was the most toughest, consistent experience. It made you question, why am I doing this every single day? Waking up, there are times where I felt like Hulk Hogan, where I cannot get up. But I did, and I got through it, and I realized if I can get through that, then what can I get through? And yeah, so ever since then, I've been hitting the ground running, traveling, wrestling all over states, countries. I've wrestled in Mexico, wrestled in Canada, and it's only my second year in the business. Done some extra work with Road Wrestling Entertainment, which I'm very blessed with and everything. And that's all because I had a phenomenal school to go to and fantastic coaching.
Oh yeah, I've actually had Merrick Brave on like a while back.
Okay.
But that was fun. I always like to say whenever it comes up, I've had the Brave of Black and Brave Academy on, so that was always fun. But it's interesting for me looking at wrestling schools, and the thing that always comes up is people recommending that when looking to get into business, finding a reputable one.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, for every reputable one, there's those ones out there that, we're not going to put that negativity out there because we've all heard the stories, right?
Yeah.
Of people, basically taking your money and running.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And, but when finding a reputable school, I know I might be dating myself here again, but I'm getting ready to 42. But, growing up, being the wrestling fan that I am, I would think about the wrestling schools, but when I'd hear about them, they'd always be like, I'd be traveling halfway across the country to get to like the good ones.
Right, yep.
But anymore, now it seems like if you really do your homework, no matter what part of the country you're in, there's one within, I mean, you might still be driving a few hours, but there's one in your part of the country, no matter what part of the country you live in.
Right.
And, Black and Brave Academy for the Midwest here, it's definitely one that when people, I can only imagine when people look at, booking different guys, when they, excuse me, when they hear that you came out of Black and Brave Academy and, the teachers and the coaches speak for themselves, that it's like people would be thinking, holy I gotta keep my eye on this guy at the very least.
Right.
What was it like for you there? Because I mean, I've been lucky enough to, like I said, I've had Merrick Brave on. I've had actually more recently a fellow Black and Brave graduate doing some big things out for, conveniently enough, one of the promotions that got me started watching independent wrestling in David, the Monster Man, David Ridgway.
That's my boy right there, Big Dave. We actually were in the same class.
We were actually talking about you when I had him on.
Yeah, we were in the same. Oh man, I love him. He's one of my. We keep in contact. Like you go into school and you scout out the talent and everything, and like I think he and I kind of looked at each other like, okay, like you're the guy, I'm that guy, okay, and then we just latched like music, tattoos, the vibes of Black and Brave. He's a brother for life for me. So he's doing incredible things. I love the dude. The big summer. I can't say that on camera. I won't. But like,
hey, my show. You hear about talking like a sailor. Well, Navy veteran here. I got something to live up to. So if you feel if one slips out, whatever.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, like it was Big Dave's amazing. Love him. Hope he's doing well. I gotta actually reach out to him better. We kind of got a little group chat going on with him, myself, Brendan, and Keegan Dimitrovic. Because we were kind of like the four that kind of hung around. There's Calvin Kelly as well and Carlos. Those were our guys. We're actually planning to go in August to meet all up at Black and Brave and train, drink, do stupid stuff. You know what wrestlers do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was wild because like when my friend Kyle, who's from Indiana and I'm from Indiana, told me to try wrestling. I did, and it's with a YouTube company called Wrestle with This. They run shows and stuff, and they have a ring and they train because Peyton Payne was actually my first trainer, who runs the company, and he was trained at OVW. So he kind of passed on the basics to me and stuff like that. But man, it was so hard getting any bookings outside of that because people just you're trained, they didn't think that was a reliable, trainer or name. And it just got frustrating because people don't know this, but wrestling can be very political. It
Yeah.
sucks. It sucks, but it can. And if you're serious about it, you got to figure it out. And I checked out OVW because, it's down the way. It's like 2 hour drive for me. And Al Snow was there. EC3 was there. And EC3 pulled me to the side, said, "You got the size, you got the look. Where you going?" And I was like, "I just got confirmed for Black and Brave." He said, "Go there, do that. And then after that, hit me up." So I was like, okay. That's when I was like, he didn't have to do that. But when he heard me say
Yeah.
where I was going, like if I would have said, I'm going to, you know, WXYZ and my trainer's
Yeah.
going to be Shane Winsky or something, he'd been like, okay. But the fact that I was like Black and Brave, he's like, oh, you're going to live across the ways for a couple months, train your ass off, and pay like $4,000 and bust your like you're serious about it. You're not this ain't a hobby, this ain't a whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I went to Black and Brave and yeah, it was tough and everything, and I'm so grateful like because I know they just recently got ID'd by WWE. They did
Yeah.
Nightmare Factory, Monster Factory, and it was intimidating at first, but God, man, like when I say like Black and Brave treats you like your family, like your family there. Like shout out to like so many guys, Cajun Kid, Solomon Tupu, Deion Roosman. They were former students who are now graduates, and they trained us in the gym, lifting weights, cardio, and if you make it through, man, they treat you like you're one of them, and you're not an oddball. Like, and shockingly enough, Seth Rollins, he's a big advocate on that. So is Merrick. And I thought at first like it was like, okay, yeah, we're family, but nah, man, they mean it. They reach out. I've texted Seth a couple times here and there about business stuff. No, goofiness. Just if hey, how'd I do in this match? And he critiques, and he critiques. But yeah, it's just awesome, and like I was very lucky because when we went there, certain classes he's very busy. It just depends on the time of year. He's either world champion, he's either overseas, but he makes it a point like he knows you paid your money, and everyone there knows like whoever goes to Black and Brave is going because of one reason: Seth Rollins. It's a big name, and he
Yeah.
understands that. And I went when he was in the tournament for the relaunch of the World Heavyweight Championship. He went and won it in my second week of training. So we were like, holy crap, we're getting trained. We could say we're getting trained by the World Heavyweight Champion right now. Like, who can sit there in the world and say, I'm currently being trained by a WWE World Champion? That's wild. Usually it's,
Yeah.
no disrespect to any of these guys. Like, getting trained by Shane Douglas or Al Snow, like former champions, former WWE guys, but we're getting trained by a current guy who's
Yeah.
in it and is
Current.
the
Yeah.
world champ. Wild. But even then, like we were supposed to train like 2 weeks prior. But he rushed it because he was like, no, I want to be there for the first day, so I need everyone to be here this day because I'm gonna be gone for 2 weeks, but I'll be back. And sure enough, that happened. And even the times he was gone, he would Zoom call, watch our matches, critique, give us tips, film study. He'd be there. Promo day, he loved being there for promo day, making fun of us or critiquing us. He always got a kick out of those. So did Merrick. Mine wasn't too shabby. Mine was a little wrestler 101, he said, like AWA style and everything. But it's just amazing. You just got to know the right coaches and teachers to go to because, and I'm not saying this because it's him. It could, I've been told by so many other people, advice and tips that really stuck with me. But like when you sit down and you just listen to him for 15 minutes, you think you know it and you don't. And it's a different understanding, perspective, ring psychology, taking it in, soaking it in, like little things. Like it could be as simple as a suplex. And he'll be like, why did that to you make sense? And then you kind of stop and you're like, because this is that. And then he goes, okay, well, I feel like the pacing was off. Why not do this, that, then go into that, then reverse it and do that? And it's like, damn, like, all right. Like, it's just crazy. But yeah, anywho, a little bit getting off track. But yeah, that's what happened wasn't really getting any bookings, man. And I get it. Like people want to know like you're safe worker because it's dangerous. Like I would hope who's gonna give me a tiger driver knows how to do a tiger driver.
Yeah.
Like, so I totally get it. Like if I hear who'd you go to training for? Something in Kansas. Okay, how many years have they been? Oh, they've been, for about 7 years. All right, well, let's do it. Versus, where'd you go? Like, Nightmare Factory. Oh, okay, QT Marshall. All right, yeah, they would not let you graduate unless you knew the basics and everything. Bet, let's do it. So,
oh yeah,
that's exactly why, honestly.
Oh yeah, no, there's definitely schools like Nightmare Factory, like to give a shout out to a couple out in SoCal where, like I said, my start watching independent wrestling, and because I was stationed out there with the Santino brothers out there, or Rikishi has this thing out there, that promotion that got me started, the one that Ridgeway is often at, SoCal Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Much love to those guys. I know I'm actually pretty good friends with a few of the coaches out there. So shout out to those guys. I like to, give shout outs to.
Oh, 100%. I've seen Big Dave out there, and like I watch some of their stuff on social media. It's a great company. It's a solid, production looks great. Entrances look great. And that's what Dave told me. Dave told me like, he's like, yeah, man, when I go out of here, I don't think I'm going to stop. And I was like, what do you mean? And that's when he opened my eyes. Cause he was like, yeah, man, after Black and Brave, I'm going to go to SoCal and I'm going to train out there too. And like, just get more experience. And I thought if I train at Black and Brave, I'm done. Yeah. You're never really done learning.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, all right, cool. So you're going to do that. Well, I'll go out here and do that. So yeah, so that's, and like I said, like I love watching him out there, like, killing it and everything, and they look like a cool company. He's a couple times he's like, oh, you should like come stay with me and like go to a show and just watch, I'm like, oh heck yeah, like that'd be cool. I'm hoping one day he and I can have a match.
That would be epic.
So we never, not to get too personal or anything, but he was in my graduating class. He had an unfortunate incident in his family, a passing, who was very near and dear to his heart, and he's probably going to kill me for telling this, but I don't care. He called and he told me like, hey man, I gotta leave. And I was like, why? And he told me, and it was pretty messed up. He was messed up pretty rough. And first thing I did was hang up the phone. I immediately got out of the bunkhouse, changed. I drove straight to the gym. There was Merrick working out. I told Merrick what was going on. Merrick was like, oh my God, dude, like, is this legit? I'm like, yes. And Merrick's like, yeah, go talk to him. And then just have him call me or email me if he needs me. I told Dave, like, hey bro, I'm outside. He came outside. dude, we like hugged for like 10 minutes, man, and just talked. And I told him, like, dude, this ain't it. Go home, do your thing, come back. They're gonna let you back. I talked to Merrick. Merrick's like, we're not gonna, and they did. Like, Merrick understood, like, dude, go do your thing. When that gets taken care of, figure out how to come back, and you're more welcome to finish your. And I'm so glad they did that, and I'm so glad he did that. But yeah, because of that unfortunate thing, we never got to wrestle a match on our graduation day and stuff, and that's all we talked about. Like, oh, we're gonna kill it. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be da 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 da. And no, we couldn't do it. So to this day, we're like, it's gotta happen. No matter who wants to run it, book it, host it. Like, it's gotta happen, man.
Oh yeah, no, that having now had you both on, I'm like, yeah, nope, I'm behind that. That needs to happen. That would be epic. Now, one place that I know I've seen a lot of advertising at, and I've actually, conveniently enough, one picture I saw of you, I'm guessing after a show, was with a former guest who's also a champion there at Asylum Wrestling Revolution, Eric Dillinger. That was a fun one. That was a fun episode. But I love that, if I'm getting even just one person outside of a promotion's general area to be like, oh, I need to pay attention to this place. I love it. Even now, over 350 episodes in, I'm still getting to do that, which I love it. But for those outside of the general Asylum Revolution or Asylum Wrestling Revolution area, words are hard. What's up there? Because I know at least, and I mean, it's been a few months, so obviously correct me if I'm wrong. The New Blood title, you at least were, correct me if I'm wrong, still the New Blood champion, and Eric Dillinger is like the main champion there.
Yeah. So still currently the New Blood champion with AWR. Shout out to Gary. I'm a Gary Goon for life. He saw potential in me, brought me in, and we hit the ground running ever since. AWR is for the diehard backyard wrestling fans. You got technical wrestling, yes, but that is Nick Gage's wet dream, I should say, of a promotion. And he actually is going to be at the next show.
Nice.
Funny enough, AWR Outlaws 3 will be in Fort Wayne, Indiana, July 11th. I actually won't be defending my title, but I will be in a non-title triple threat match with Dylan Cole, his little weasel ass, and Rathbone, who's a hard-hitting son of a bitch. But you know what? It's going to be a banger. And yeah, man, Eric Dillinger, he's the man, dude. He's awesome. He busts his ass. He's killing it in Japan now, along with Dale Patrick's. Gotta love my auntie Mickey Knuckles too, and everything. She's a psycho.
She's crazy. I like her, but she's crazy.
But it's literally all the love and respect to her and Eric Dillinger and Dale Patrick's, because I get that's not a lot of people's cup of tea, the deathmatch stuff. It's just
it is mine.
Yeah, it could get dark, it could get bloody, it could get but those three are literally, the best way I can describe them is it's a train wreck. You want to look away, but you don't, like, because you want to see like how's this going to turn out, and they put their bodies on the lives, and all the love and respect to them. But yeah, AWR July 11th is the next event. And I've talked to Gary. Gary's talked to Dale. Gary's talked to Eric. And with Dale being so busy in Japan and killing it, Eric's got his foot in, but also he'll be back. And I think Gary's eyeing out a potential champion versus champion match coming up, and that would be solid. I'm all
That
for
would
that.
be.
That's all. That's all gas, no brakes for sure on that one.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, other than AWR, which is one of my favorite promotions to work for, because it's a riot, man. Like
Oh,
that
yeah.
company. So we got this thing where Indiana now has to be a licensed. You have to be a licensed wrestler and promotion.
Yeah.
Bro, Gary already said, "Hey, we know it. We know by I think it's like June something. You have to be whatever." He said, "Come, come the 11th. If it happens, he's like, it may be our last show. We go like we're going balls to the walls. We're going out, and we're going out with the bank. So all the respect to him. He's thugging it out. But other than AWR, there's phenomenal wrestling everywhere at each state. But for Indiana, I mean, you got WWT Wrestle With This, who's always on YouTube, bringing in these like interesting characters and storytelling and production. And shout out to Wrestle With This for actually giving me a chance and helping me get my foot in the door with independent wrestling. There's also Wrestle Arts, downtown Indianapolis. They book phenomenal talent like Ace Perry and I'm blanking on names right now because I'm trying to get everyone there. But like Apollo Star, obviously, his son, Cassius Star, other talent like other promotions too is Wrestling Theology is another one, very church based, but it's super fun, entertaining. Junior Independent Championship Wrestling as well in Martinsville. And obviously you got like OVW, you got what is it? Exodus Pro in Cleveland as well. I've done Exodus with EC3 and stuff like that and everything. But other than that, there's not too many in Indiana, but man, the Midwest is taking over. There's plenty of in Illinois, Ohio, Detroit, Michigan, Tennessee. So like, and I think genuinely, with WWE being a global company, they're catching wind that wrestling is taking over the Midwest again. Like it's no longer just Texas and Cali and Florida. Like this is a very, very heavy wrestling territory in the Midwest.
Oh yeah. I'm actually podcast partner with a fantastic league of wrestling based out of the Chicago area, but they just had a show at Indiana Beach.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a fun thing. I got to actually I've had a handful of people on, and they actually, being podcast partner, they actually sent me the referee shirt. They got like the logo on the back.
Oh hell yeah! Look at that.
And they got my logo, my logo on the front.
Oh yeah, that's sharp.
Rather snazzy looking. And I've made it a point. Every person from the roster that I have on, I'm wearing this during the episode. my little thank you to them. But yeah, no, Midwest, there's definitely areas of the country that, kind of meccas of independent wrestling. Like the whole, like Southern California, even Northern California is all like one big one out there.
Mm-hmm.
You got, Midwest between, Indiana, Ohio, Chicago area, even up in, Minnesota, like that whole Midwest area right there in particular is turned into like one huge like area for independent wrestling. And then obviously up northeast and down Florida, definitely all big areas. And you mentioned going international. What's it been like, international travel for you? Because I've excuse me, with the podcast, I've even been developing a little bit of an audience out, more so up in Canada, and I actually developed a little bit of a working relationship with a promotion out in Prince Edward Island with Island Pro Wrestling up there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a fun time. What has it been, international travel for you? Because that's, especially out in Canada, there's definitely some more remote areas to perform in out there.
Yeah. Man, the Canada one was very lucky. Just because I was actually, it was due to because another, like I said, another talent that was with Dave and I's class, Keegan Dimitrovic. He's a fellow Canadian, and he lives out there, and ran his own promotion in Windsor and stuff, and said, "Hey, I really want you to be in this promotion. Like, either we can wrestle or whatever." And I'm like, "I'm fully game." He ended up being the main event, wrestling someone else, but he invited myself and Peyton Payne, known as Stone Payne, and wrestled with this. So we tagged along, drove 8 hours through Detroit over the bridge and everything, and man, it was wild. Like I never thought like I would wrestle in Canada, and this was no joke, like 6 months out of Black and Brave.
Yeah.
So I'm like 6 months out, and I'm already in Canada. That was a great experience. And then this wasn't even planned for Mexico. I was the current AWR champion. I took it with me to my vacation in Cancun. They had like an arena and a ring and everything. Went in there, checked it out and everything. Talked to a couple of guys like, "Oh yeah, I wrestle in the U.S. Black and Brave, Seth Rollins." Da, da, da. Next thing I know, I get pulled aside. "Hey, someone pulled out. You want in?" I was like, "Yeah." Didn't really have my gear. Wrestled in swim trunks, but I mean, close enough, right? So
Yeah.
just looked like a tourist or something, a surfer, Hawaii, whatever.
Yeah.
But had a blast. That was a learning experience because, feet to the left, but not so much over there. It's the kind of opposite, so that was a learning curve for sure. Yeah, but other than that, it was awesome. Like I want to do more for sure. I kind of had to pump the brakes on bookings for a little bit because I totaled my car, so I've been without a car for a minute. So the only things I could really do was do currently in the States, because I would borrow, my in-laws' car or my fiance's car at the time to get to and from places, or even my friend's car. And then the only other bookings I was taking was when, WWE needed extra talent, and I flew out to California for Raw. I flew out to Saturday Night's Main Event in Rhode Island. So other than that, but now I got a new car now, and I'm so hyped to just spam everyone and try to get bookings again and just drive. It's a Honda Civic, so plenty of gas, plenty of mileage to run it up. So,
oh yeah, hell, I'll even send some people your way because, like I said, I'm apparently gaining an international audience, which to me, that guy that can be a bit of my own worst critic. When I was starting out, I never thought I'd 350 episodes in. All where am I now on YouTube? I think I'm inching close to 500 subscribers. Like, I'm no Chris Van Vliet area of like that his many subscribers, but hey, for a guy that I think when I started I had maybe 20, it's a pretty good little deal for me. So yeah, to think that I would be having any sort of working relationship with a promotion out in Canada is just wild to me.
Yeah, like and that's the thing too. Honestly, that really drew my attention with Seth. He told us one day, like, there was probably honestly, how many of there were us? There was like 17, 18 of us that started the class, and only 6 of us graduated because they just dropped off like flies. Either the bumps they couldn't do it, or the traveling, or the constantly building and tearing down the ring, and he was straight up, not blunt, but he was honest and said, hey, this may be your passion and dream, but wrestling isn't for everyone. And he's like, pro wrestling isn't for everyone, but it can be. And what he says, what I mean by that is, you may not be cut out to be a pro wrestler, but if you love this world of wrestling, you could always be a production person. You can always be a cameraman. You can always be a referee. You can always be a ring announcer, a commentator, a podcast that talks about wrestling, and interview. Like, there's so much in the realm of professional wrestling. Just because if you feel like you can't cut it in the ring and you physically are unable to or anything, don't let that deteriorate your passion. Just go for it and do it, and find something that is fun to do in the world of wrestling. And as long as you're happy and healthy and doing it, then that's all that matters. And I thought that was a really cool thing for him to address to us in the class, literally day 2 of wrestling. And then I found out the reason why he said that was because he made us do a lot of CrossFit workouts for 3 hours and run 5 miles, and I puked my brains out and was questioning myself. So
yeah, I've heard plenty of stories, especially the first little bit of training can definitely be a bit of a weeding out process, finding out who who really wants to be there and put in the work to deal with all of that. And then also just figuring out who, might need to figure out what other area of the business they can fit in.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is there were some people, and I told people this too, like, I was like, oh, for sure. For the first 2 weeks are definitely, seeing who can cut it and weeding out, whatever. And someone who was, I don't know if they're pursuing it now, but they at the time they were like, I want to go to Black and Brave, tell me how it was. And I told him the first 2 weeks are very crucial and yada yada and everything we did in 2 weeks. And he was like, oh my God, dude. He's like, why would you spend $5,000 to a school and live out there and like make sure the down payment's there before you arrive and everything? You go there and your third day you quit. Like, he's like, why would they do that? That's not right. And I said, I'm like, here's the thing, man. I'm like, you're going to one of the top schools in the country, and with guys who've been doing it for 17 years, it's not like they're hazing us or nothing. It's to show, are you worth my time? Are you coachable? Are you teachable? Are you going to listen? Do you respect this business that I literally will bleed and die for? So if the answer is yes, then you'll hack it out and do it. Because, I mean, look at the man before you. Even Merrick Brave. Like, Merrick, historic history in ROH and everything. They're not there to waste their times, man. They've done this shit for years.
Yep.
They've seen it all. They've done it all. They've heard of all. They said it all. Like, and they've had guys go in there who thought they were the top next signing guy. And they've had guys in there who go in there and think, why am I here? But day one, you're a pissant. You're a pissant. In the words of Brock Lesnar, you're chicken shit. We're gonna see who's chicken salad.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it is.
Oh yeah. No, definitely. Oh, wow. All right. So I have 2 categories here that I like to kind of round stuff off with. First one's a bit of a name game where I name off some people. You give me some quick thoughts on them. And, I figured we both have pretty nice beards here.
I'm trying. I mean, yours is phenomenal. Mine's a little at the moment.
I had to trim mine a little bit because my son has got quite the grip on him, and when he starts getting fussy, the first thing he wants to do is.
Hey man, I'm the opposite, because I lost all this at 16, unfortunately. Yeah, so you understand. I lost all this at 16, and I honestly, honest to God, I tell this to everyone, I would much rather be bald with a beard than be no beard and have hair. That's just because this looks right. The beard, the tats, it looks right. And it's funny because you say like, "Oh, I had to trim mine," because I'm afraid to trim mine because I'm afraid it won't grow back, so it stays. It doesn't get touched.
Mine grows like crazy. But yeah, me, I didn't lose my hair up here at 16, although that's probably when it about started. But me, it was literally the last haircut at boot camp, and they said, "Oh, we can take all that off for if you want." And I'm like, fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as this category, the name game category, I figured, you know what? Since theming it towards the guests as much as I can, each of these people, in my opinion, have some pretty nice beards in wrestling. Or, there's a couple in here that have since passed, but they had some pretty epic beards.
Mm-hmm.
First, so I give you the name, first thoughts that pop in your head. First one that I've actually had on the show before, who's actually teaming up with Seth freaking Rollins right now, Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed. I'm gonna be careful what I say because the last time I ran into Bronson Reed, people can go back and look at this. Go back and look at Bronson Reed had his scuffle with Braun Strowman Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
I tried to stop it, and he headbutted me, and I flopped like a fish ringside. So Bronson, I'm gonna avoid that situation. I'm still a little hurt from that. So
understandable.
He's due a receipt, damn it. I'm gonna give him a receipt, I swear.
I mean, luckily I'd like to think I'm on his good side, although it's been a while since I had him on. Mm-hmm. I was actually at Warrior Wrestling when they had their St. Louis stop, and his match that night was actually him versus Jeff Cobb.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get to have Jeff Cobb on. I did get to talk with him a little though. And I also, when approaching Bronson Reed to even ask, I was like, holy shit. Because he's definitely one of those guys that walking up, he's a very intimidating presence.
He's very wide.
Yes. So I was like, oh shit. And I was still relatively young in the podcast at the time that I even got invited to be a part of the fan fest for that show.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, this guy, is this even possible? But right. I was like, you know what? If I don't at least ask, I'm going to be kicking myself for not at least trying. And then there was literally a solid point between when the fan fest ended and when he had to go back to put on his gear. He's like, mm-hmm. Okay, you got this.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, this is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was fun. That was definitely a fun one. This next one, God rest his soul, I actually got, the podcast actually has a tiny little connection to this guy. And I've actually been told that I had this person-esque beard. The late great Bray Wyatt.
Mm. I'm gonna say inspirational.
Definitely.
He's one of the key things that honestly made me, at a time, I stepped away from wrestling a little bit. It just, the product was the product.
Yeah.
But when he arrived, whether it's just Wyndham Rotunda or Bray Wyatt or The Fiend, like, he drew me in. I could literally sit and listen to a 5-hour promo from that man.
Oh, yeah.
And just the aura he had. Oh man, like I actually have plans because I'm actually obviously I'm heavily tatted. And my kind of theme is like dark stuff and everything. One of the things I definitely plan on getting, because I want to attend the WrestleMania, and I know they do the tattoo
Yeah.
section there. I want to get a Firefly for sure, because I and he's one of like the 5 people I study and like love to watch for like big man wrestling because he can
Yeah.
move as a big
Oh,
guy.
totally.
So yeah, with Bray Wyatt, I'm gonna say inspirational. And honestly, he's the only reason why I wish I had hair because oh man, I love that dreadlock with the
Oh,
buzz on the sides and back, and it's in the oh
oh
yeah,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah. So inspirational is what I'm going with him.
Oh, for sure. I, mentioned the little tiny connection to him that I have with the podcast. I actually had former Ring of Honor 6-man tag champ Dutch on like a while back. He's actually one of like I'm wanting to say the top 10, 15 most viewed episodes of the podcast.
Oh, solid.
And I forget if it was a post that I did about having released the episode or if it was the post I did about just having recorded with him.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember, and I've told the story a few times on different episodes, but I remember coming home from work and all of a sudden there's a Twitter alert. And I'm like, I didn't recognize the little profile picture. So I was like, well, when I get to a stoplight, I'll check.
Yeah.
Well, when I get to that stoplight, I about dropped my phone because it was Bray Wyatt liking the tweet about who I later found out was a friend of his episode of my show.
Mm.
And I immediately messaged Dutch back and I'm like, because I didn't know at the time. So I was like, you friends with Bray Wyatt? And he like explained all of it. I'm like, that explains so much right now. But it was like somebody of that caliber acknowledging my little show. It was like, holy sh!
It's very surreal, like knowing someone like that took the whether it was like 30 seconds, took the time out of their day to just watch.
Yeah.
Take a break from the real world, watch what your content is all about, and then like it. Like that's awesome. That's 100% awesome.
That was pretty damn wild for me. Something that I won't forget.
Yeah.
Another person that next person on this list here. I kind of got to meet this person before.
Okay.
And I'll explain after I name him. He's one of my personal favorites, although he's injured right now. Kevin Owens.
I wonder if I'm gonna get in trouble for this.
I know with the history with him and Seth. So.
Fuck it. So I did extra work for Royal Rumble when I was in Indianapolis, and there's been a couple times where like KO and I were like in the same room, in the same catering, and the whatever, and not once did I ever approach him or anything like that. And he's honestly my number 2. He's my number 2 guy. My favorite. I have 3. Okay, so he's 3. I'll say 3. 3, and that's the guy. Like big man style. Like I do the cannonball because of him. I do like there's certain things I do because of KO. And there's one time where we both were in the medical room. He was getting examined. I was getting examined. And he was getting ready for his ladder match with Cody Rhodes. Crazy match. Cody hit him with the, was it Alabama Slam or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, into the ladder. And after that, I go to catering grabbing a cookie, which I shouldn't have been grabbing a cookie, but whatever. Sue me. He was there getting food, and he turned around and he had a big old knot, like stitches here, stitches there. His eye was swelled, and it was just him by himself, just putting food on a plate, getting ready to go back to the locker room and chill. And that right there, I was like, if I'm going to approach him, it's got to be now, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe not the best time because he just wants to get his food and get out. I go up to him. I just go, Mr. Owens, I just want to simply say, phenomenal match. I admire your work, sir. I study your work, sir. I went to Black and Brave, and you're one of the reasons I'm in this. And he sat his plate down, said, nice to meet you, kid. What's your name? I said, Deion, shook my hand. And then he just sat there and said, what questions do you have? He's like, where are you from? How long you been doing it? What are your goals? Is there anything you need from me? What would you like to know? And I'm just like, you haven't even ate food, and you sat your food down, and you got this big old swollen eye, and you're talking to me, dude. Like, and I'm nobody. That right there just made my whole respect for him go through the roof. And then after that, I was also booked to do extra work in Cleveland, Ohio, that Monday Raw. I pull up, he's there, and he's walking his suitcase. He stops and says, hey D, how's it going? And like gives me a little bro hug. I go, good. He's like, hey man, good to see you here. Way to make the rounds, and slapped me on the shoulder and kept walking. I'm just like, he remembered me too. Like, dude, yeah. So it is. I'm gonna say sweetheart. Yeah, that's why I don't want to get in trouble. And I'm like, whatever. But dude, he's awesome, man. Awesome. And I don't know if he'll ever listen to this or if anyone ever cares to listen to what I have to say or anything. It's whatever. But that is the next man that needs a wrestling school. That is the next man. If not, if hopefully a long time from now he decides to retire and hang it up and everything, and he's like, I'm good. He's got to be a head coach in the performance center, man.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. My little time where I kind of met him, funny enough, the pandemic was starting to wind down, and my side of things decided to go to Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
And it ended up just being my wife, me, my parents, the older of my two sisters, and her family.
Yeah.
And on the way out, I had to bend down to tie my shoe, pick up something. I don't remember at this time. But what I do remember was as I was getting back up, I damn near bumped into him because I literally was getting back up, and all of a sudden, within like less than a foot from me, as I'm getting up, all of a sudden I see that T-Rex skull tattooed on his arm, and I look further up, and I'm like, my jaw just dropped. I'm like, oh, holy. He was with his family though. I was like, if this were in the parking lot, I'd say something.
Yeah, I had similar. Funny enough, because I'm a big Disney World guy and I go to Disney. 2 years ago, I went and Brody King was there. I shouted him out. He was pushing a stroller and he smiled and waved. And then this recent trip, I just got back from like a week and a half ago. On my final day at Magic Kingdom, I ran into. I saw like the vest of a Disney cast member, and I'm like, oh, that's a celebrity. And I'm like, who are they with? And I saw this buff blonde girl, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. And I'm like, she kind of looks like Beth Phoenix. And as soon as I said that, Adam Copeland, Edge, in a floral shirt, short shorts, flip flops, sunglasses, smiling, walking around. I'm like, that's Edge.
Yeah.
So I power walk up to him while he's walking with his family. I'm just like, Mr. Copeland, I respect your work. I love you, man. I just want to say thank you for what you've done for the wrestling business. And he was super cool. He's like, yeah, man, thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Have fun today. And I'm like, you too, man. And that was it. It's all it needed to be. And I'm like, I feel like if I would have asked for a pick, he would have been cool with it. But I was like, you know what? I think he appreciates more that it was a quick little respect, salute, and so on. So
yeah, if I would have said anything to Kevin Owens that day, it probably would have been that. But I'm like, I felt awkward it being in the middle of the park. I was like, if this were in the parking lot, I'd say something, but I will admit,
As long as it's not the bathroom.
Oh, yeah, oh God, no.
Or
No,
eating.
no.
As long as
No.
they are not, as long as they're not eating or taking a piss.
Yep, no,
Other than
definitely.
that,
No, that's.
other than that, a simple walk up. Hey, how's it
No,
going? Am I your work? Boom, easy peasy
no.
lemon
Oh,
squeezy.
yeah. No, that definitely would have been it. But I will admit that I was definitely running to catch up with my wife and fanboying out like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You like, literally. And she's
Yeah.
looking at me like, you fucking idiot. All right. Last but not least here,
Mm-hmm.
two of my absolute favorite, the 2-for-1 here.
Mm-hmm.
Two of my absolute favorites because I am such a fan of tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
The War Raiders.
War Raiders. I mean, I was gonna do the thing, but I won't do the thing. I'll go iconic. Simple as that. I mean, absolutely iconic. I mean, if you don't know, if like, God, just big men too.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez. You know what's funny is War Raiders. What's funny is like my friends kind of pick on me because they say I look very similar to them, and they always chime in and go, "You'd fit right in. You need to change your gimmick and and do what they do." And I'm like, I don't know about all that, but
Oh, yeah. From Ring of Honor to New Japan to
mm-hmm.
going into I've been such a huge fan of theirs. I've
Yeah.
actually jokingly, there's a pumpkin patch every fall that not too far away from me that they serve these giant turkey legs. And I remember one time I literally, with the beard, I took a, a giant bite of it, took a selfie of me taking the bite out of it, and I tweeted it at the both of them to be
Mm-hmm.
like, eating a giant turkey leg like a fucking Viking. And they freaking retweeted it. And I'm like,
Oh
God,
heck yeah,
dude. That made my day that day. That was like, holy shit, that's awesome.
that's solid.
Oh, yeah. Love those guys. All right. Now I got some random questions. Some might be wrestling related, some might not be. Some might have nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far.
Okay.
So I give you the question, first answer that pops into your head.
Okay.
First one, the one, really the only one that never changes position on this list. Craziest in-match moment for you?
Craziest in match moment for me, like me personally, or like just like watching.
Well, you know what? Hell, one of each. One that happened where you were in the ring,
Yeah.
and then you know what? Heck, the craziest one that you ever ended up, just watching from the crowd.
Ooh. So like one that was like live, watching live. All
Yeah.
right, that's cool because that'll come full circle. For me personally, in the ring, when I got suplexed and my arm decided to,
Ooh.
that was crazy because I've never done something like that in my career of football and amateur wrestling, and I'm proud to say I finished the match too with like another 9 minutes. So that was probably my crazy, just doing that stunt and going through it. But watching live, I got a two-parter. One, watching television, the end of the streak. I think that's a lot of people's crazy moment for sure.
Yeah.
Me, personally, me watching live, it's not even that crazy. It's just the fact that in my head, it came full circle. I was there live at Survivor Series 2012. John Cena versus Ryback versus CM Punk. That was the debut of the Shield.
Oh, you had full
Seth
circle with,
Rollins,
yeah.
Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns. Go back a couple years later. I was at the same arena in Indianapolis. I was there when Seth Rollins turned on the Shield.
Nice.
Just for the man to become my trainer. So that's why, to me, that's crazy to think. Sitting
Oh,
in the
yeah.
nosebleeds, watching Tyler Black, debut, becoming Seth Rollins, and then down the road, like, if I would have told 2012 Deion, hey, he's gonna train you, I wouldn't have believed you. And it's funny, real quick, if you go to YouTube, WWE's YouTube, and type in like Survivor Series like kickoff or pre-show, whatever at the time, it shows them panning like into the arena, and you'll see like a guy hold up a sign that says like in your house or something like that, and the camera keeps going. You see a woman in Uggs. You'll see a kid with blonde hair, a pink Dolph Ziggler shirt, and a world title. That's me. And then my
Wow.
stepdad, and the camera pans into the arena. So I think that's
Wow.
just kind of funny and cool that I was technically made my WWE debut the same time he made his WWE debut. So yeah.
Yeah, no,
Not the same, but the same.
pretty wild. That is for sure. I've got to witness a few crazy moments. I know one wasn't televised, but footage of it definitely made the rounds on social media. A few years ago, NXT did a house show here in Omaha, Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
And one referee took a pretty crazy bump to where his ankle just and literally was flopping around like,
mm-hmm.
And he still finished, counted the 1, 2, 3, and they carted. I was literally like second or third row right by the entrance for that.
Wow.
They carted him off right by me, and I could see the ankle just.
Yeah, it's rough.
The other one, conveniently enough, that same arena, most recently with, we brought up the Shield, the infamous Moxley Copeland nail board spot.
Oh, where I got stuck?
Yeah. I was third row right at the entrance for that. It literally happened right in front of me. My little clip that I have of my vantage point of it, where like you could literally see them trying to pull it out and the skin still like trying to hold on to it,
tugging on it. Yeah,
that literally got up to like 11,000 views in under 24 hours.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah, that definitely was.
And funny for me how both of those happened a few years apart in the same arena.
Mm-hmm.
And I was virtually sitting in the same position.
That arena might be cursed.
Maybe. But like I've seen so many nail board spots where like you think, oh, and then all of a sudden it like gets kicked out before anything happens, or like they land on the just bare wood part of it. You never before that moment see anybody get suplexed onto the nail part.
Right.
But it happened that night. Now we talked a little bit about Disney stuff. I'm a fellow Disney nut.
Mm-hmm.
And this might be a little hard because but like there's so much to choose from. Favorite Disney movie?
Favorite Disney movie? Oh man, I'm going to. All right, I'll do this. Disney, like classic Disney movie, Hercules for sure.
That's a good one.
Not really like in the classic era, but like in like maybe Renaissance type. I don't know. Dinosaur.
Yeah, that's an overlooked one.
Yeah, that I was a big dinosaur, fanatic growing up as a kid, and that's just Aladar and everything. And then you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say Pixar, like along with Disney. Pixar, I'm gonna go with. Shockingly enough, I love. I don't know why. I really don't know why. Now I think about it, but I love Monsters University so much.
That is a good one. I
Yeah,
love that one.
yeah, yeah. Those would be my big three. Honestly, besides the Hercules, I really, really have grown fond of Mulan.
That's a classic.
Yeah, so I would say those are mine, but by far all time favorite would be Hercules.
That okay, okay. I can respect that. I know for myself, and you know what? It warms my heart that, well, I get this stuff off of here. It warms my heart that my little nieces and nephews, at least the ones that live down in Kansas City, that they've taken such a liking to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hands down one of my favorite non-Pixar Disney movies, but
Mm-hmm.
Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, Lilo and Stitch. Yeah,
Dude,
the live action one's killing it in the theaters and everything.
I've yet to actually see it.
It's actually pretty good. It's
I
it's
want
it's
to.
both. They both stick with the iconic stuff, but add in new stuff to where it's not overwhelming and it's a perfect mix.
That I like hearing that, because my one thing with the live action remakes
Mm-hmm.
is there's been some of them that have gone so, it seems, so far off of what the original was, the original story, that I'm like, I don't like this.
Mulan.
Yeah, yeah. So I was a little nervous, but I'm like, oh man, I want to see Lilo and Stitch so bad.
Yeah.
My other one, I'm such a sucker for Chippendale.
Chippendale's awesome.
Two of my favorite characters. And
I thought the Disney Plus movie was actually pretty good.
oh yeah,
Very entertaining.
same. And then my other two favorites, Goofy and Donald Duck.
Yeah, Donald Duck's my all-time favorite of the group, and then you can never go wrong with Goofy movie.
Oh, Goofy movie is such a classic.
Yeah.
And I mean, as far as Pixar goes,
Mm-hmm.
Monsters University, definitely one of my favorites. Heck, both Monsters University and Monsters Inc. I love those freaking movies. All right, now this one might be interesting for those that have been to the parks.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of themed rides.
Yeah.
What is a Disney movie that hasn't, as far as you might know a little more into it than I do, because I've been to the parks, but it's been a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite movie that, hasn't been made into a ride, but should.
Favorite movie that hasn't? Okay. So like taking a Disney movie and turning it into a ride?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go with this because I think it's a classic, and I think personal Disney park person talking here. I don't really agree with the whole Encanto themed land and stuff at Animal Kingdom because it's Animal Kingdom. I totally get why they're doing it. That easily could have done a whole either Jungle Book theme. If not, you could simply have done and I would have even been mad if they did a copy and paste of like Splash Mountain or Tiana's Bayou type deal. They're doing it in Paris. Why not do it in Animal Kingdom? It's Animal Kingdom. Why not do the Lion King ride? Well, that is the most Disney iconic blockbuster movie making franchise of all time is Disney's animation, The Lion King.
Oh, yeah.
They have a Broadway show go, and it like I mean, come on, Mufasa, Simba, like they have a whole show still at the park.
Yep.
I would say that would be the one for sure. I was gonna say Monsters Inc., but they are doing it.
I've heard they're doing that one.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of glad that people get mad, but I don't care. I like the fact that Aerosmith is turning into the Muppets.
I kind of like it too.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I know they're gonna do that. You could do so many IPs like that are like cosplaying with different bands, but it's just Muppets. Like it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's great, and the Muppets are still in the parks.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh man, I'm such a sucker for, in particular, out of the Muppets, Fozzie, Animal, and Swedish Chef.
yeah.
Love those freaking guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Swedish Chef video I saw where he's trying to make poutine,
Yeah.
and oh god, classic. Now I know for me, and correct me if I'm wrong here with the Disney rides. For me, I completely agree with you on the ones that you mentioned. I would think Encanto could probably be like maybe its own land for like Magic Kingdom, something in there. But the two you brought up for Animal Kingdom, I agree. Other one that I had been thinking of, and maybe fitting, we were just talking about Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch, that it just seems like it would make a good ride.
Yeah, I think they technically had one a while back where it was like
I seem to remember thinking that they did.
the experience thing where like it was really you just sit in a room and it's Stitch and he like breaks out and everything. But they got rid of it. So because it originally was like some weird sci-fi alien thing and it got too scary, so they took that out and made it Stitch's Great Escape or something like that.
They need to bring it back.
Yeah.
I'm
right
such a
next to
sucker for Stitch.
it was right next to Monsters Laugh Floor. Is where it was at in Tomorrowland.
Okay. Yeah. I'm such a sucker for Stitch though. I don't get it. Maybe it just speaks towards that goofball nature of myself.
For sure.
I just love Stitch. All right. Now, with the name of a show like I have to ask this one. Favorite drink, alcoholic or otherwise, because I like to tell people just because it says Drinkin' does not mean that it has to be alcoholic.
Ooh. Well, non-alcoholic, I'm an energy drink guy.
Okay.
I'm big energy drink guy. It doesn't matter which one. It could be Ghost, Alani, Zoa. I'm just an energy drink guy. Other than that, I really like. I'm basic. I'm a Miller Lite guy. I like Guinness. I like a couple IPAs here and there. One drink I fell in love with, ironically, was at Epcot. It was at I think it's called Rose Crown or Rose Pub in like the France Pavilion, and it was like a hard peach cider. I don't know why, but it hit.
That sounds delicious, actually.
Yeah, it was super good. But yeah, those are my drinks. I'm a Miller Lite guy. I can down those. Michelob Ultra, Guinness for sure. My grandpa, I love him to death. We always bust out a Guinness on Christmas Eve, and he always comes out and goes, "I got the chocolate milk." So that's kind of like a tradition we do. So yeah, those are my go-tos for sure.
Oh, you know what? Conveniently enough, bringing up Christmas Eve, that was the day my son was born. Yeah, we went in for the last ultrasound, and they said, "Well, you were going to be coming in a couple days anyway. So how about we start this process now?"
Yeah, talk about the ultimate Christmas gift, huh?
Oh, for sure. But favorite beers for me, I can be kind of a basic one, although I will admit, and I've yet to find it anywhere closer to me than Kansas City, but Stone Cold's Broken Skull American Lager.
I need to try that.
Freaking delicious.
Okay.
I need to get me more. But like
Definitely
I
try
said,
that.
closest they sell it to me is like almost 3 hours away.
Mm,
They need to get it here in Omaha. But other than that, I'm a bit of a Dr. Pepper fiend.
okay.
And then energy drinks, yes, I probably need to cut back a little bit.
Yeah.
But
If we're talking soda too, my all time go to is Baja Blast from Taco
oh,
Bell.
that's a good one. Although energy drinks, my I stumbled on these because they got so many freaking delicious flavors. The C4 ones where they
Those are
have
good.
like the popsicle brand.
Yep. The orange
I
cream popsicle and the grape. Yep.
the cherry one's one of my favorites.
Okay.
They also got like a frozen bombsicle one, like
Mm-hmm.
the red, white, and blue popsicle. Freaking delicious. Or they have a Hawaiian punch one.
Yeah.
That one, it literally tastes like a carbonated Hawaiian punch. It is freaking delicious. All right. Now, last but not least here, best advice you have for anybody wanting to get into wrestling.
Best advice I can give was probably one of the best advice I was ever given, and it was from the man who is near and dear to this business, and that has to go to William Regal.
Mm.
The biggest advice is I'm not in the wrestling business. I'm in the business of wrestling. Um, that's a whole different perspective on it and everything. Um, but other than that, my personal opinion is if you love it, do it. No matter what your passion is, if it's wrestling in the ring, counting 1, 2, 3, just going to shows as a fan, crowds make wrestling, without crowds, without fans, wrestling doesn't stand a chance or lives on. Fans who make podcasts like yours that are incredible, that do interviews with fans, with wrestlers, with promoters, no matter what, keeping the name alive, and just have fun, and then just do what you're comfortable with. Pace yourself. You know, not everyone can run. People will walk. People will jog. Like it's not a race. Um, always have your dreams high. Set goals and expectations for sure, and just keep your head in the clouds, but your feet on the ground too.
Mm.
Like, maybe it's not. Oh, I want to be at WrestleMania one day. That's amazing.
Yeah.
But how about let's. I want to go to my first day of wrestling school. I want to have my first match. I want to wrestle at my first out of town. I want to wrestle my first tag team match. I want to make it to where I've wrestled at 10 different promotions. Just take those little steps. And they're
Those little
major
steps. Yeah.
achievements. Yes. No matter what, major achievements. And if
Yeah.
you never go to a WrestleMania or never get signed, that's okay. It's you got to do it because you love wrestling, because wrestling may not always love you back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you really
Definitely.
got to have a passion for it. And if you lose that passion, just take a beat back and then reanalyze it and figure out how you can get back to that love of passion. So that would be my biggest advice: is just do what you love at your own pace, at your own time. And everyone's different, so the journey's always different. That's the biggest key: is the journey is different, but enjoy the journey.
Yes.
Definitely enjoy it.
For sure. Now, before we go, where can people find you social media wise so if they don't already have their eyes on you, they can go ahead and get them there?
Yeah, you guys can catch me on Instagram and Twitter at Deion Freeman, Facebook Deion Michael Freeman, known as Pitt as well. You can find me on Wrestle with This YouTube, AWR, IWTV, um, and maybe sometimes as a security guard on WWE or
Yeah.
TNA or AEW. I don't know, maybe.
Mm.
Hopefully soon OVW as well. Coming up, trying to work with Al Snow on that and everything. But that's where you can find me and catch me and enjoy me kicking some ass wherever I go. So
All right. Love it. We'll get all that in the description. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me tonight. Been an absolute pleasure. You're welcome back anytime.
Awesome. I for sure will definitely be back in with some cool stories and stuff. Hopefully we can be back to where we have a discussion about mine and Big Dave's match. So
That would be sweet. I would love that. All right. Get the, now my issue with the damn fucking button.